Shout out. Shout out to General Red, man. What's good, Scrappy? And a shout out to Joy, who's the big homies driver, man. I definitely appreciate y'all for subscribing, checking out my new channel, man, and giving me some good advice so we could talk about these gangster topics, you know what I'm saying? Now to clarify, man, I give an overall view of my perspective as far as this gang shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's just where the buck stop. You know what I'm saying? And today, man, with these topics of what I'm gonna get into today is this myth of some fucking nationwide 8-ball. And for those that don't know what the 8-ball is, the 8-ball is this bogus unity that various individuals from where I travel, and particularly the South and Midwest, have conjured up this idea that somehow folks and Crips are the same, or Crips and GDs have some type of bond. And we're going to dispel that myth today, you know what I'm saying? Because that's bullshit. Now, doing my research to a couple of Long Beach Rolling 20 Crips that I actually conversated with, I know sometime, I believe it was in the mid-90s, early 90s, or could have even been the late 80s, that some gangster disciples found their way in San Diego, Southern California. And there was a bond, and there was an agreement and a pact that was made in San Diego between the Crips and the folks. You know what I'm saying? It's documented, it's actual fact. But to say that that bond and that pact was honored by the whole Crip nation, organization, set, gang, whatever you want to call it, is bogus. Because one thing, Los Angeles Crips in LA County in particular, especially in the street sense, they feel that if you're not from LA, you ain't Crip. Point blank, period. If you're not from the LA area, you ain't Crip. Point blank, period. And if these G's, gangster disciples, didn't go to LA and put it down with the brothers in LA that was under that blue rag, then I mean, you know, it's frivolous. It's no such thing. And to prove my point, look at the beef between J.O. Felony and Snoop Dogg. Because the Rolling 20s and Long Beach Insanes, it's the LA area. And they're entitled to that opinion. And they basically feel that if you're not from that area, you ain't no fucking Crip. And they basically debold, chumped J.O. Felony out of that position. You know what I'm saying? Because he's from San Diego. Now, is that to say that, you know, J.O. Felony ain't real, that he won't put it down, he won't put in work if need to? I mean, who knows? San Diego knows how you give it up. You know what I'm saying? But them LA-based street gangs, That's just what it is. That's just what it is. And you also have to take in consideration the mentality of LA street gangs and Chicago street gangs, in which myself had conversations and encounters with both. And I can tell you right now, man, I take nothing away from Chicago. I give props to Chicago, you know what I'm saying? However, with their street organization, their gangs, their nations, whatever you want to call it, they're more structured. There's guidelines, hierarchies that they have to answer to. And from my dealing with a lot of Chicago street-based gangs, they tend to move as a body, as a whole, versus as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Basically what I mean, to break it down in layman terms, I'm just giving an example. You know, you could have been on the south side of Chicago, got into it with a Stone or a GD, and you could have said something to that individual is basically like, you know, fuck you, whatever. It is what it is, and if you want to get funky, like, nigga, we can get it right now. And that individual, if he's about that life, he's gonna get at you. If not, he'll run back and he would tell his homeboys that the argument or the beef that you and him have had nothing to do with a personal attack on him. That you said basically fuck the whole nation. And them niggas in that organization, whether it be folks, Stones, Vice Lords, they're not gonna question what this guy has said, what their member or their fellow brethren has said. They're just taking that and they're riding with it. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Where LA differs. You get into it with a blood or a Crip out there. One thing in the LA gang world, in which I definitely give them brothers props, is before you get down with the set, you get down with the hood, certain neighborhoods, you have to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? As an individual and as a gangster on every level, you got to prove that you can stand on your own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? So you get into a blood or a Crip out in LA and you disrespect them or whatever on a personal level, and that blood or Crip in LA don't get at you, he runs back to his homeboys like, yo, you know, I got into it with this dude, you know, up there at the car wash, whoop de whoop whoop. He said, fuck the set. You know what I mean? Before those brothers just align themselves and rock out what this dude's saying, they questioning him first. Well, if he said fuck the set, why didn't you do anything? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get disciplined and chastised. And then they will come see, or they will come be you. You know what I mean? And I definitely respect that. I definitely respect that. And also the difference between Chicago street-based gangs and LA street-based gangs. Chicago kind of rolls off of numbers. You know what I'm saying? So the more numbers we have, the more people we can have just to do shit. So in the Chicago street world, you have weak ass niggas who are hierarchies. You know what I'm saying? They can't fight for shit. They ain't gonna pop a pistol. However, they might be highly intelligent. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody plays their role. You know what I mean? Everybody plays their role. But on the flip side, in LA, to get down with the set, whether it be Crip or Blood, you got to be about that. You have to be about that. It ain't no, oh, you know what I'm saying, you claiming this particular neighborhood, but you're not active. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna pop a pistol, you ain't gonna get in the car and go out and ride if need be. You know what I'm saying? No, everybody get their hands dirty. Period. You know what I'm saying? You claiming that neighborhood, everybody's getting their hands dirty. Everybody. Another thing with the Chicago street culture and street gangs versus LA street culture and street gangs, where in Chicago, you know, there might be a whole neighborhood that was BDs. You know what I'm saying? And this is actual fact. I'm not sitting on Chicago, I'm just keeping it funky. This is facts, you know what I'm saying? Might be a whole neighborhood that's predominantly BDs. Folk Corner Hustler might move over there in that particular section. He might have that bag. And then that whole neighborhood flips the foes. It's facts. And that particularly right there is just an example, but there's actually evidence of that. Whereas in LA, it doesn't move like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't rock like that. You know, you're not going to be a Santana Block Crip and have the bag and move to a Lime Hood, Piru neighborhood and set up shop and just turn everybody over there in the neighborhood, Santana Block. It ain't rocking like that. You know what I'm saying? How they get down, how they move, it's completely different from each other. I mean, Crips and Bloods, you know, they call Chicago gangs Star Wars. Because Chicago gangs predominantly under the 5 and the 6 point stars. You know, now it's kind of a free for all, you know, just a toss up, but that's basically what it is. Where in LA, they don't acknowledge stars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't acknowledge stars. It's neighborhoods and sets, you know what I mean? Straight up. And also the difference, I mean, shit. If you had a Crip from Los Angeles go to Chicago, especially in the 90s, and walked around a BD or a GD neighborhood, anything that was aligned itself or was demonstrating under the 6, he would get his fucking head blown off. Because Crips are left side gangsters. And in Chicago, anything under the left is under the nickel. It's fin ball rolling. It's a 5 point star. It's Vice Lord, Folk Corner Hustlers, Mickeys, Latin Kings, Stones, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if Bloods from LA would have went to the west side of Chicago, get their fucking head blown off. Because Bloods in LA are right side gangsters. Everything's to the right. And in Chicago, everything under the right is under the 6. You see what I'm saying? So it's a big difference. A big difference. Crips ain't folks, man. And folks ain't Crips. In fact, in Chicago, for a long time, the People's Nation main colors that was really flying, and particularly with the Vice Lords, were black and gold. Where a lot of G's wore silver and black. So it's a complete difference. I mean, shit. Black disciples even throw up the B's for the trays. You know what I'm saying? In certain situations. And also in LA, there's really no hierarchy or no structure amongst the set in the neighborhoods. Everybody has an individual voice. You got BGs, YGs to listen to the OGs, but at the end of the day, motherfuckers are gonna do what they do. And really not get chastised unless they snitched or did something foul or grimy that can receive hella pushback to the neighborhood. Whereas in Chicago, there was definitely a hierarchy that you had to communicate with and build with. You know what I'm saying? But it's a big difference. And from my knowledge, you know what I mean, any lokes out there, man, or any folks, you know, that want to add on to this commentary, man, you can enlighten me. But to my knowledge, man, Crips ain't jacking the 8-ball and Killer Cali. And GDs ain't jacking the 8-ball and Chirac, you know what I'm saying? So that's just, you know, my input, man, on that. Again, salute to General Red. Shout out and enjoy. Like I told you, sweetie, it's Google Hangouts. So hit me up and let's correct that wrong.